I want to get rid of the Armory Deck. So what is the Armory Deck in Grit right now? The Armory Deck is a separate set of cards that start out of your main deck and in essence are cool little weapons that you can attach to any of your heroes and give them a secondary ability. Oftentimes, at least in the case that they are created right now, are almost a necessity to ensure that that character works in a full capacity. Now, the way that Armory cards work is that you start them in your Armory deck, which is a separate set of cards that you get to bring to the battle. You would set the game up in that you would choose your active hero, you would draw your hand size, and then you would get your life, or your stamina, excuse me, over on the side here. And this is what a normal game would look like. Eventually you would get different weapons that would be attached to different characters, just like this. And whenever you wanted to rest a character and switch out to a new one, you would rest them like the action it dictates, and you would move the cards forward and backwards into your inactive and active zone. Meaning every time you're resting, you're moving 1 to 2 cards. And that doesn't sound like a lot in general, but when you take a look at the difference of moving and dealing with almost half the cards, half or near half the cards, it feels much more prim and proper and clean. Right now, the readability of the game is quite chaotic. When you have enhancements, tenacity cards, when you have partially taken Armory cards that are attached to different characters, you sometimes also often feel like you need to retain the orientation of those cards when it doesn't matter in the inactive zone. They come in and now you've got another card, including all of your enhancements and your tenacity cards, you've got your life or your stamina. So all of this together has led me to removing Armory cards in general. The idea of them I really liked, and I tested for quite a while. Most of the other currently available videos, whether it's rules, dev talks, or gameplay, have the Armory deck as a central point of the game. I really liked it because I like having an extra set of cards, much like an extra deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or a Dome deck in One Piece, or a Rune deck in Riftbound. I like a second set of cards you can kind of rift through and have access to, but I think over time, that's not what Grit wants. Grit wants a little bit more crispness in the game's orientation and its play. And I think that the Armory deck just added a slight bump to that. In this case, Armory cards had to be played differently. They weren't just cards that you could spend a resource from your hand like other cards, but rather you had to consume a card from your hand, removing it from the game. It's basically removing a card from your deck to bring in another card into your ecosystem of cards from your main deck. All of the things I'm talking about are all rules that we've worked with. Those rules can be changed in any way, shape, and form. We've even talked about taking the Armory cards and just putting them into your deck like a normal card. That's actually how they started. They started in your deck just like any other card, and when you played them, you discarded cards from your hand to pay the cost, and you attached them to your hero. They are more interactable in every way, but what we found over time is that we really wanted to have access to these, and the reason we wanted to have access to these is because it made the character whole. And I think that the crutch that the Armory deck created for the heroes of Grit far outpaced the longevity of them. And that doesn't really make sense now that I say it out loud. Having the Armory deck was a crutch so that the heroes could shine themselves with their abilities and their unique and asymmetrical playstyles. But given the bump that this Armory deck created, it doesn't necessarily give more positive good for the heroes. So to remedy that, to remove this, means we're essentially destroying or breaking down some of these heroes and what we've expected them to be during playtesting these last little few months or years or however long it's been at this point. So instead we need to take a look at the heroes directly and start to figure out what makes them whole, what would make them feel like a complete hero. And I think reworking all of their abilities to work better with what they're trying to do, their kit, that in and of itself allows us to remove the Armory deck, and now we have 3 really awesome heroes in any deck that can work with just what they have and don't need that crutch with the Armory deck. So for now, the Armory deck is going bye-bye. And now all we have left is our main deck and our heroes, which, very fun, means that all of our decks now have a little bit less extra cards in them, but I think that also might need to change, but I'll talk about that in a different video. There's a few things I need to talk about, but this just happens to be the first one I got to. So for now, say bye-bye to the Armory deck and say hello to a little bit more crispness in the game of Grit. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, hey, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And if you didn't, got him. Otherwise, I hope that you have a great day, night, morning, weekend, weekday, weekends, whatever it is, wherever it is you are, and I hope to see you in whatever the next video is. So, see ya.